I was hanging out with my friend Chris Cutts one night, and he was showing me a new track of his, and I was noticing some inconsistencies with the sounds and the sound selections, which were altering his groove. And oddly enough, I pulled up this track, which was just a 2-track stereo file in my home studio, and showed him a couple unique little tricks that could help. But I was trying to point out that he needed to go back and do this with his sound selection in the mix. So I thought I'd show you what I showed him to show you how these choices can affect your groove. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, and welcome to Distinct Mastering. My name is Freddie. I'm a mastering engineer, producer, DJ, and president of Sleeping Giant Music. For over 2 decades, I've helped artists grow their careers, and now I'm here to help you with your music production skills. Now let's get into why sound selections can really alter your groove and why groove is super important. Okay, as I was saying, I was just hanging out with a good friend of mine, and he showed me one of his tracks, and we were just listening on my home stereo system, and I was just pointing out some production things that I thought could be better. And then I proceeded to try to explain to him the shaping of the sounds and the groove and how certain things just weren't vibing. So I then took it right to my home studio and showed him just a couple unique little things. Now, mind you, this is not something I recommend you do to a stereo 2-track, and this is not something that I would be ever doing in mastering. This is more of a demonstration purpose. But as you can see, and I hope I don't get dinged for copyright. Good thing this song is not released, and I don't know if it will be released, but this is a modern classic song, My Way. And, it's a cool song, but let me just go ahead and play this for you real quick. Now, the first thing that I remember hearing, because it's been a few weeks since I did this, was that the kick drum, the shape of the kick was just a little long, overextended, and the snares and the claps were just overextended. And, I urged him to think about not only the quality of the sounds, but I also wanted him to think about the shape of the sound. If the shape of the sound is too elongated, it's going to alter the groove of the track. So I was talking to him about the kick, how it was a little long, and I felt the snares weren't potentially right, or there was maybe too much 1 to 1.5K in the snare, but the snare just was extended out too. It was just like a cut, and then instead of a cut. So what I then decided to do, spontaneous spur of the moment, is I just loaded the track in my DAW, and I was trying to show him. Now, once again, I don't recommend you do this on a stereo 2-track. You should be working in the actual session, but I didn't actually have that. So what I proceeded to show him was I put a Transient Designer just to shape the transients of what I was talking about. And here it is. And as you can see, just putting that on it just shapes the sounds I'm looking for, and it alters the groove. So it's very important that you pay attention to that. Now, not only does swing alter the groove of your tracks, which it does, track delays or moving things over milliseconds can help as well. All of these things play a part, but what you're trying to find and figure out when you're making your productions is getting a groove to where your body feels it. It's very important to have that feeling in your production if you want to make it top notch. And that was the one thing he said to me. I struggle with making my productions top notch. Not only is it frequency imbalances or sound selection, but sometimes it's just finding that right groove. Now, another thing that I showed him, I'll play you this without the Transient Designer first. Back on, and you can see the boom, cut, boom. It just helps. So then I ended up taking a compressor, and this is the API 2500, one of my favorites. I should probably do a video on this. If you would like me to, leave me a comment below. And what I'm showing here is just the simple fact that this is helping to shape the sound too. Now, because it's doing it to the whole track, it's not doing an ideal job, but I'm trying to show him how I can use a compressor to alter his groove. Ultimately, getting the groove in the production session is the most important. And I would always push back if I was mixing this track or mastering this track and say we need to fix this before we go to these stages. But once again, before, after. It's very subtle, extremely subtle. And I didn't make this video to show you, to tell you to do this to your productions. What I'm making this video is more concept-based. Focus on the groove of your productions. Focus on the sound selection, the timing, and the frequency spectrum, obviously, the EQ moves you make to help make everything fit in the pocket. And when you get everything fitting in the pocket and you get that nice swing, that humanized feeling, that's what you're looking for to take your productions to the next level. And that's an overview of how sound selection can alter your groove and why groove is very important. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and the bell notification will keep you up to date. Once again, my name is Freddie from Distinct Mastering, and have a great day.